Hi, I'm Lori Lisa. Thank you for joining me today. This is a revised version of the breathing techniques of how to breathe properly. There is a way to breathe properly. Many of us in this day and age are so stressed out. We're always on the go. We're worried. We have that. It's natural. It's okay. But it's just a matter of how we take it in is what we need to learn. And breathing is a big part of it. Breathing can be a good barrier for stresses in the world and in our lives. Just keep in mind that there is stress. There is stress in the world, but when it affects your body, when you let it come into your body and affect your mind, then it becomes de-stress. Not de-stress, but distress. It can actually send distress signals in our body, sickness, and maybe just foggy head, can't think straight, you forget things, digestive issues. That's distress. And so when we're under distress, things are going to go wrong. Our body's going to tell us things. One major way to try to prevent that is the way we breathe. Many of us tend to breathe shallowly, which would mean that we are just only focusing on the top half of our lungs. And when we do that, it's going to involve muscle movement in our neck and shoulders, and that's what we need to steer away from. So when we do that, let me show you what that looks like, and you go, oh yeah, I know I do that. Okay, so we all do it. It's a force of habit. I do it too, and I catch myself. So what that looks like is this. Okay, that just demonstrated that everything from here up just moved. Okay, we don't want that. Our lungs go from here to down here. Okay, and we have this very important muscle. The number one tool that we need to have involved engaging in our breathing is called the diaphragm. The diaphragm is a muscle that's tucked right under your rib cage. Go ahead and feel free. Go ahead and kind of cup your fingers like this, and then just find that rib cage, find that last rib, reach under there. It might be a little tender, it might not be that comfortable, but reach under there, and that is your diaphragm. Now go ahead and take a nice deep breath in. Oh, that's going to push your hands out right there, okay? So that is a very powerful muscle, okay? And you have to know it's so powerful, but yet you're not using it the way you need to be. So this video is going to show you how to do that. Like I said, in breathing correctly, it's going to help your digestive system, it's going to help your immune system, it's going to help your respiratory system, it's going to help your circulatory system, it's going to help your whole body, it's going to help your mind and your spirit. It's going to help you feel better and calm you in those times of distress. So when you're stressed out, when you're worried, when you're anxious, when you're on the go, if you're having one of those PTSD episodes, you know, this is a really good method to at least try. Also, if you're having a hard time getting to sleep or have insomnia, this is a breathing exercise that you need to try to concentrate on and give it a shot. And it may not work the first time, it may not work the second time, but the more you do it, the more your body's going to be accustomed to it and go, oh, I like this. Keep doing that. So it's kind of like retraining your body to breathe correctly. So, you know, as an old dog can learn new tricks. So you can do this. It's just a matter of patience and determination. So you have to keep in mind that you may naturally breathe from your shoulders up, okay? But the more you remind yourself of how you're doing it, and if you catch yourself doing this and getting stressed out and stuff, and the more you remind yourself, oh, I shouldn't do that, I need to be breathing from down here, the more it's going to become second nature for you. So I demonstrated for you what it looks like as we normally tend to breathe shallowly, right? Okay, even there's sometimes where we go, and it really gets to our neck muscles and our face muscles, and we don't need that involved. What we need to imagine is that there is a straight line of breath going from our nose down to our diaphragm, okay? Our diaphragm, keep in mind, is where our abdomen is. Our abdomen is the center of us. It's who we are, and we need to fertilize that, if that makes sense. We need to keep it fertilized, and we need to keep it healthy so that everything else is balanced. A lot of people in the energy or Eastern modalities and practices call this the solar plexus. This is your solar plexus chakra. If this is out of balance, a lot of other things can be out of balance. This is known as the center of self. That says a lot. I mean, that is the deepest part of us right there. So what we need to keep in mind is that if we want the rest of us to be whole, the rest of us to be balanced, we need our center to be balanced and flowing. That's probably the key word right here, is flowing. We need things to be flowing. If it's not flowing, it's stagnant. And if it's stagnant, it's going to cause buildup of toxins and all that nasty stuff we don't want in our life. So in order to focus on this, we're gonna, like I said, just even if you need to take your fingers and place it in the center of your, where your diaphragm would be, right underneath that sternum, and then of course it wraps around right underneath your rib cage, okay? And go ahead and try some breaths and feel what it feels like to breathe from your diaphragm, okay? So I'm gonna demonstrate right now. Okay, you notice that my neck and shoulders did not move. You notice that my whole abdomen was engaged in this. Not only is this helping everything, my breathing, my respiratory system, my abdomen, my lungs, it's helping my digestive system to, digest better. And it's just bringing in, it's actually helping toxins move out of my body. Which is pretty impressive. So actually, it can actually help lose weight. Yes, it can. Don't just think that that's the only thing that you need to do to lose weight, but I'm saying that bringing the oxygen into the body and bringing those muscles into working, all of your abdominal muscles, once you start focusing on using that diaphragm muscle, all of the other abdominal muscles will be engaged. They will be in use. And so expanding and contracting those muscles will help all of that fatty tissue start to break down and start moving and doing something instead of just sitting there. So that's good news if you're trying to lose weight. So keep that in mind. Keep all of these things in mind, because it is vital for every portion of your body, every cell of your body. The number one thing that your cells need to keep reproducing and to keep going is oxygen. Keep that in mind. The reason why people develop illnesses and cancer is the lack of oxygen. Keep that in mind. The lack of oxygen occurs because of stress we incur in the body. And so we know that there's stress outside in the world, but we, as ourselves, our bodies, can control how much stress we take in and let affect us. We have to keep that in mind. I've seen so many people who, if they've gotten cancer, they go one way. They become very negative, and you can just tell by the body language and everything of how they're handling it. Their breath is shallow, and they're just not quite grasping what they need to be doing to take care of themselves. Because honestly, ultimately, doctors are great and healers are great, but ultimately you are your healer. You are your own healer. So in remembering that, there are people, and I'm sure you've seen them, I've seen them, I've known them, to where they have such a positive outlook on life, and they last and last and last years beyond what their prognosis was for their cancer. And it's such a miracle. I know this wonderful woman who has MS, multiple sclerosis, and she is a what's titled an Ayurvedic yoga specialist. And if you met her, if you saw her walking down the street, if you talked to her, you would have no clue that she has MS, because she looks healthy, she is wonderfully spirited, and she practices yoga. Yoga is a great form, a great tool of learning how to breathe properly. It teaches you to breathe from the core and expand your muscles, and to let that oxygen into your body and into your mind. So it's a very, like I said, it is the most important tool and most important gift that you have as far as being able to heal yourself is oxygen. It's pretty amazing. It's as simple as that. It seems so complex, but it's as simple as that. So just remember, you know, try not to lift your shoulders, try not to tense up, try not to clench up and all of that stuff, and leave it to your diaphragm to do the work and your abdomen to do the work. So in this right now, I'm just going to sit here and just demonstrate what it's like to just do some deep breathing, and take your time with it. If you ever have any questions, just feel free to contact me. Something that you can practice doing is laying flat on the floor on your back. And in that way, there's really no way for your shoulders to raise. You don't tend to go while you're laying on the floor. You'll notice this. You'll notice that it will be natural, because you'll have that back support to breathe naturally. And so that's another point I want to make also, is that if we actually had the proper back support, the proper posture when we're sitting in our cars or at our desk or at home on a fluffy couch like this, if you had the proper back support, look what's going to happen. So for instance, this is arching my back. I am putting my hand behind my back, pretending for it to, you know, be a good support for me, okay? So this is my back support, I'm going to pretend that this is a really good couch, okay? Not many of us have a really good back supporting couch. So let's pretend that this is a good back supporting couch or chair or whatever, you know, you have. And it's going to bring your posture upright. So you'll feel in the thoracic part, or which is known as the mid-back, it's going to curve inward. And that's what you want. You don't want a flat back, because that's going to cause strain on so much on your back and on your abdomen, and you're going to hunch over, and you don't want that. The minute that you have that back support to bring your natural curve to your back, you're going to sit up straighter, and it's going to open you up here. Okay? I'm sure that's making sense. And if that opens you up here, you're going to have more lung capacity. And you're also going to have less pressure off your internal organs. So especially if you have any kind of digestive issues, it's going to open that up better for you. So one of the major issues is that if people have digestive issues, it's not necessarily just what you eat, it is your posture. If you're slouched down like this, it's putting pressure on your internal organs and making it harder for it to digest. It just does not have the room to move. So if you have that support, it's going to open everything up for you. Okay? So now that I've gone through all that, whoa, it might be a little too much for you, but there is so much to understand of the importance of breathing correctly. So with that being said, we are actually going to do a little bit of demonstration here. If you were laying flat on the floor, this is what it would feel like. It would not feel like this. It would feel like this, because you have that low back support, especially if you have like a little pillow on your low back. Okay? So do this laying on the floor, and then do it sitting up, or do it sitting up and then do it on the floor, and then do it sitting up again. And you're going to notice, oh, That's how I'm supposed to breathe. If you lay on the floor on your back, you're going to notice that naturally you're going to breathe from your abdomen. If you're sitting up, you just want to work what feels naturally, right? But if you do this, naturally your abdomen is going to work. Your diaphragm is going to work. Your whole abdomen, your abdominal muscles are going to work. And that's what's vital. That's what's important. So if you need to just practice a little bit with your hand behind your back, or you can even take a pillow and stick it behind your back just to give you that support and practice your breathing, go ahead and join me now. We're going to go ahead and do that. Let all the air out first, and then deep breath in, deep breath out. And I always recommend trying to breathe through your nose. Breathing through your nose allows for more control. If you're super stressed, what I recommend is breathing through your nose and then breathing out of your mouth really hard. Like that. So that's a great one to do when you're stressed. So you can always imagine when you're stressed that when you're breathing in, it's nothing but good. It's nothing but positive. And when you breathe out, it's all the stuff you don't want. Get rid of it out of your breath. And that's kind of a great visualization to keep in mind. And some other things I want to point out too is when you take a deep breath in, your stomach should get sucked in. It should go inward. So imagine your belly button trying to meet your spine. Okay? Your belly button is meeting your spine. Okay? This is actually contracting your abdominal muscles and helping work those muscles in there too. And they can help with your metabolism and lose weight. Okay? When you exhale, your belly is going to come back out again. Okay? It's going to be nice and full. Okay? So keep that in mind. So when you're inhaling, belly button to the spine. Exhaling, it come out again. And of course, when it comes to deep breathing, you don't want to necessarily do it too fast. You want to do it nice and slow, especially when you're stressed. You want to do it slow. Slow things down. It's going to help slow your heart rate down too if you're stressed or angry. So and the slower you go, the calmer you'll feel. And the nice thing about breathing through your nose is that you have that control of the speed better than you do with your mouth. So for instance, that was a really long inhale and exhale. It was a lot quieter, but it was a lot longer. That can help a lot of people to go to sleep too. So I tend to do it. My significant other does it. And it's just a great way to just de-stress. It's great. So remember, your diaphragm is the muscle that needs to be working in this. You also have your intercostals, the ones that are between your ribs, working. But that's all you need to be thinking about. You don't need to be thinking about your shoulders and your neck and everything else that's going on. The straight line of oxygen coming from your nose to your abdomen, your abdominals will be involved, and you're going to be happier and healthier and calmer, and you should really notice an improvement in a lot of ways. And I really hope that this video is beneficial for you. And I really appreciate you coming by. Thank you so much.